Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get this review done. This will be a little bit different. I've got some notes that I made about this. So this is a couple of different warm-ups that I did. Um, the original idea was uh, the warm up that you're seeing on the right hand side of your screen is kind of the warm up that I normally do, and I was just going to film that, kind of jogging for about 5 minutes on the treadmill, going for about 5 minutes on the rower, about 5 minutes on the bike, and then doing some stretching for, depending on how much time I've got, 10, 15, 30 minutes, depending on the time and how stiff I am and everything. And so I've got that video, and I cut it up so that you're not having to watch that whole thing, because this particular warm up took me like 40 minutes. So, anyways, that was the plan. Kind of let you guys see what that warm up normally looks like. And then I got to thinking, I know CrossFit has a warm up. They call it the CrossFit warm up. And anyways, I was like, I wonder what that looks like. So I pulled that up, and it basically just kind of trashed my whole warm up, and told me that I was doing a terrible job of it. So, anyways, this is the old article. This was back in 2003. This was one that's kind of newer on the CrossFit site. So, anyways, I'm going to kind of pick through that a little bit, and tell you why the warm up on the left is supposed to be better for you. So, anyways, you guys haven't seen a video from me in several days. I think in the last one I did, I was kind of starting to get sick, and my voice was kind of starting to go. You can kind of hear my voice is kind of coming back now. In addition to that, I've just felt terrible. So I was sick. I had it was coming down to the end of the month. Sorry, that stupid thumbs up. It was coming down to the end of the month, and I had to get my patrol hours in. So I do reserve officer volunteer work for the Centerville Police Department, and so by state law, we're required to get 8 hours a month in, which is not too bad, except for February is a short month. I got sick in there, and I can really only do it on the weekends because I can only do it at night, and so then the next day I've got to be able to get some rest in, so I can't really do it on a work day. So, uh, anyways, I got that in this past weekend, and then I had an emergency in the middle of that, not in the middle of that patrol, but in the middle of those days there, that just it was in the middle of the night, and it really put me out of sorts, and so I just haven't caught up. Today is the first day that I have felt halfway decent. I've just felt drained, and so yeah, I'm just finally caught up now. I'm out here in the sunshine. We've got a little bit of warm weather, so I'm facing south, trying to pick up some sunshine, and feeling pretty good right now. So that's where we're at. To preface this warm up idea, I wanted to tell a story. So when I was up at Iowa State, I was wrestling up there. I was a walk on. My whole experience with athletics was in small town southern Iowa. We've got 5,000 people, 400 kids in the high school, and I was fairly athletic. So you know, I never really, how can I say this? I wasn't really fighting for a spot on the team. There weren't tryouts. You just showed up and you were on the team, and if you worked hard, you had a starting spot. And so I get up to Iowa State, and I remember walking onto that team and going into that practice. And the person I remember specifically, and I'm sure it was most of these really high level guys, but the guy that I remember was Kyler Sanderson. So it was Kale's younger brother, Kyler. Kale was the coach. He was a 4-time national champion, undefeated, Olympic gold medalist, came back, and it's his first year being the head coach for Iowa State. And so anyways, we're in that room, and Kyler, before practice, he's got his headphones on. He's got his music cranked up in there. You can tell he is bouncing around the room, and he's just going crazy. And I'm watching him, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, yeah, I recognize that kind of a warm up and that kind of um, energy and an attitude warming up, but it's what I would do before I would have a wrestling match. That is what I would do before a football game. I'd crank up the music and get going and get amped up. And I'm looking at Kyler and I'm like, he's doing that before wrestling practice. And that's when it kind of hit me. I'm like, oh, this is a different kind of deal. You don't just show up and kind of do your thing. You are performing at your best at this practice, and then you come back and you do it again the next day, and you do it again the next day, and you do it again the next day, and as you stack those great performances up one on top of another every day, that's how you get good. You don't get really really good by coming in and giving a mediocre effort. So anyways, sorry for the snuffling here. That's that's what I'm prefacing this with. If you are going to do a workout, you should warm up. Why? Because you're going to perform better in that workout. And if you perform better in that workout, that means you push your body a little harder, your muscles got better, faster, your cardiovascular system got better, faster. You're making bigger gains by doing that warm up. So that's just kind of the general argument for a warm up. The other thing I wrote down here on my paper was Kale would say to us all the time. Remember, this is a guy that never lost a match in college. The only one who ever did that, Olympic gold medalist. And he would say, learn to enjoy the process. Or in other words, the focus is not on some arbitrary, maybe it's going to happen end goal. The focus is on this thing that we're doing today and the enjoying that, or in other words, getting as much out of it as you possibly can. And so, anyways, that was Kale. Oh, and I pulled another quote out of my little book of quotes that I've got, or that I collect. It's from the Comfort Crisis, and it was, the process is the reward. The process is the reward. Or in other words, you're going to look back and realize that the grind that you were going through every day is the fun part of it. And I think we hear this all the time. People's kids move out of the house and they say, man, I wish I'd appreciated those days when things were just chaos. Man, that was a blast. Those were the good old days. We're living in the good old days. Every moment is that. You will look back and remember it with fondness. Even the really really bad stuff, when you get through it, and you will get through it, you'll look back and it'll be a fond memory. So anyways, yeah, so that was my experience with warm-ups. Basically was my high school athletics, and it was basically kind of what you're seeing on that no, shoot, whichever side of the screen you are, where I'm doing kind of the running and bike, and now I'm on into the stretching part of that, and I've got it sped up here so that we can get through it. But yeah, it was just kind of do a kind of a slow kind of warm up, and we did some dynamic stuff, in football and wrestling, some of that dynamic stretching where you're doing high knees and butt kicks, and in wrestling you do shuffling and karaoke and rolls and cartwheels and that kind of stuff, but not with real high intensity. And I'm not high intensity. I'm not saying I'm really highly intense on this other side of it at all, because this was my first time ever doing it. I was just kind of experimenting with it. But anyways, before I run out of time here, I want to kind of read through a couple things. When CrossFit started revolutionizing the fitness landscape over 2 decades ago, the common warm-up practice was to get on a stationary bike, treadmill, or Stairmaster for 15 to 20 minutes. That side over there. Today, This is still the warm-up of choice for many who don't know any better. We've also seen the advent of warm-ups consisting of 20 minutes of foam rolling, followed by another 25 minutes of every stretch and mobility movement Instagram offers. However, the CrossFit warm-up offers a more efficient and effective alternative, providing all the necessary elements in a shorter time frame. Um, I'm going to skip this a little bit on this. You guys can look it up on CrossFit's website. It says follow for a warm up to accomplish the primary goals of improving performance, decreasing the risk of injury, and improving fitness. It must, and then it goes to the bullet points. I wanted to touch on that improving fitness part of that. So back up just a little bit. It says uh, opportunity to learn new skills and develop greater overall capacity. So that's what it means by improving fitness as opposed to improving performance. So the improving performance, that's addressing, hey, we're about to do a workout, and so we're trying to get our body ready for that. We're about to do a workout. We're trying to decrease the risk of injury in that. We are people who work out and do things, so we're trying to decrease the risk of injury, in the other things that we do. But that improving fitness has to do with use your warm up to learn skills. Use your warm up to build volume in these body weight movements. So, anyways, that's what I kind of interpreted that difference of improving performance, improving fitness as. Okay, so for it to do those things, it must increase body temperature and heart rate, and that is the one that's pretty much the only thing I ever thought of with a warm up. Get your heart rate up, get your respiratory rate up, get your body warm. Um, Provide some stretching to improve the elasticity and contractibility of muscles, and you see me doing that there. Stimulate the entire body in primary biomechanical functions such as force generation and core to extremity movement through full ranges of motion. And so that's where, like, that overhead squat you were seeing, so this is called the world's greatest stretch, this one that I'm doing there. The other stretch that I was alternating with this one on each round is the Samson stretch. And then that full range of motion you're going to see as I kind of work my way through these. I went from sit-ups to these GHD sit-ups. My back extensions, you can't see the feet holding portion of that GHD machine, but I kept kind of moving it up so that I went from kind of a little bit of a back extension more out and doing kind of a more hip extension. So anyways, full ranges of motion. Provide practice for basic movements, overhead squat, and that needs a lot of work. Don't judge me too harshly on that. Stimulate the respiratory cardiovascular systems, stimulate the nervous system for better reaction time, coordination, accuracy, agility, and balance. And so on my last set of pull-ups, you'll see me do chest to bar pull-ups with a kip. I didn't want to start with that. One of the things I was worried about as I was doing this, I was like, am I going to hurt myself in my warm-up? I didn't know what that was going to feel like, especially like where you're talking overhead squats. And I could have done that with weight, but again, I didn't want to hurt myself, so I'm like, I'm just using the broomstick. Prepare us physically, mentally, and emotionally for rigorous athletic training by providing a transition from rest to all-out effort. So yeah, this is definitely not rest, and it's definitely not all-out effort. It says riding a bike or jogging on a treadmill accomplishes only the first item on the list. A laundry list of flexibility and mobility movements may hit more elements, but it's too long and tedious. We'll never stick with it. And that was the thing that hit me in this article, was there are many days when I do not get my warm-up done because I run out of time, or I'm like, man, that's just going to take too long. It's just too much. So anyways, we'll never stick with it. And I kind of agreed with that statement. Over 2 decades ago, CrossFit recognized the need for a more efficient warm-up to stimulate better results, decrease injury risk, and enhance movement skills. The April 2003 issue of the CrossFit Journal introduced a CrossFit warm-up favorite that has stood the test of time and remains a great option to prepare for a workout efficiently and effectively. One of the things I'll say here is they did say in this, these movements that I'm doing, you can modify these any way that you want to. You know, you can scale them down, you can scale them up, you can swap things out, and that's why, like, I did a couple of different stretches. I could have done handstand push-ups here. You know, so uh, that's that's about all I've got. So Samson stretches and World's Greatest. They also mentioned the couch stretch in here, overhead squats, sit-ups, back/hip extensions, pull-ups, and then in place of the dips that it listed on here, I did push-ups. And basically that just came down to I didn't want to set up the rings to do dips on. So yeah, it says the combinations are endless and depend greatly on your specific capacity and needs. Scale them down, scale them up, mix and match. Uh, yeah. Anyways, 15-minute circuit is what it told me to do, and that's just kind of what I did. I probably could have got through more rounds if I'd have known it a little bit better, but yeah, that's the warm up. Um, yeah, you guys can look this up on the CrossFit site if you want something to reference. But anyways, I thought it was a good thing to touch on for this video. Like I said, when I started, I was just going to show my warm up and just say, hey, I try to warm up. But I think this is probably a better way, and I'll probably start doing a little bit more of it like this because you can build some volume with your pull-ups. You saw me doing those strict pull-ups. Build some volume with your sit-ups, your push-ups, and I'll probably do, like I said, this is my first time. I'll probably do more than the 5 reps on each round as I kind of go through and kind of figure out what works for me. But that's it for today, guys. Hey, this is Thursday the 27th when I'm making this video. So the CrossFit Open starts today. If you've made it this far in the video and you have not signed up for the CrossFit Open, you should sign up for the CrossFit Open. It's going to be your best kind of repeatable but unknown test of your health that you're going to have access to, especially for $20. So every year you're going to do it, and you're gonna pull up your profile on there, and you're gonna be like, oh, last year I finished in the 7th percentile. This year I just got done with it. I'm in the 15th. I'm going to set some goals for next year. I'm talking about myself. So my first year I was 7th, 15th, and then last year I was in the 30th percentile. And so I'm hoping to bump that up pretty dramatically this year. You guys have seen some of my previous videos, and I've been finishing kind of in that anywhere from 50th, depending on the workout, up to, in the mid 80s on some of those workouts. So we'll see how I finish up this year. The first workout comes out today. You can still sign up. You can sign up tomorrow or the next day. That workout, your score is due. You have to submit it before, I believe it's 5 o'clock on Monday, but don't quote me on that. So you can sign up and do that workout anytime before that and put that score in. And then it's the next 2 weekends after this. So it's 3 weeks total. So go ahead and do that if you haven't done it yet. And yeah, we'll trade our scores back and forth on here if you want to interact with me. And yeah, look forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks.